How to replace the suction pad gasket on your Asimex lifting device. Difficulty level 1 out of 3. Over time, the gaskets on your suction pads wear out and lose their effectiveness. This can affect the proper functioning of the device and ultimately lead to safety risks. Depending on its condition, partial or total replacement may be necessary. Here is a step-by-step guide to safe, complete gasket replacement. For this operation, you will need a gasket coil identical to the gasket to be replaced. To ensure perfect safety, refer to the Asimex technical documentation to check the part number and order it from our teams or directly from shop.asimex.net. Non-corrosive seal lubricant, WD-40 type, liquid neoprene contact adhesive. Always follow the instruction for use and safety given in the product leaflet. Please also think to bring the seal tool supplied by Asimex, a cutter, a pair of protective gloves, a few rags to wipe off excess lubricant. For greater comfort, take the time to dismantle the suction pad and position it at man height. You'll gain in efficiency and ergonomics. Run your hand along the suction rail. It should be clean, smooth, and flawless. Clean it if necessary. If the rail is damaged, contact Asimex support. Unroll the new gasket and position it roughly around the suction pad. Cut it to size, leaving a margin for adjustment. Be sure to start inserting the gasket at a distance from the suction pad's corners. A joint placed close to a bending point could compromise the airtightness, as the two faces of the gasket are not perfectly parallel. Position the start of the gasket halfway up the suction pad. Start inserting the gasket into the suction pad rail so that the outer part of the gasket is engaged in the rail. Lubricate to facilitate insertion. Start using the tool about 10 cm from the start of the gasket, leaving the start of the gasket outside the rail. To facilitate insertion of the gasket, hold the Asimex tool with both hands, positioning your index fingers on the front. Press on the lower part of the gasket to avoid any risk of cracking in the gasket groove. In the corners, make sure you push the gasket correctly into the rail so that it is not stretched. Regularly check that the gasket is properly inserted on the outside of the suction pad, especially in the corners. If necessary, reinsert it. Gradually work your way around the suction pad, stopping about 10 cm before the end. Wipe off any excess lubricant. Now it's time to finish inserting your gasket. To do this, cut the beginning of the gasket straight across to obtain a clean surface. Position the end of the gasket on top and cut cleanly, leaving a margin of about 3 cm. Apply neoprene glue to both ends of the gasket. Cover the entire surface of the gasket. Allow to dry for about 15 minutes to ensure good adhesion. Once the pause has elapsed, with the help of a colleague, join the two hands by pressing firmly. One holds the gasket while the other inserts it into the rail as previously done, ending at the junction point. Make a final check that the seal is correctly positioned all around the suction pad. You can now reassemble the suction pad and perform a leak test. If everything is in order, your device is ready to go back into service in complete safety.